Cinema King coming back at you. This time around, we are talking Disney Plus's Peter Pan and Wendy. Where do I begin? First of all, I should state a couple of things. First of which is, my favorite fairy tale growing up has been, and still is, to this day, Peter Pan. That's thanks largely due to the 1953 Disney film. Without that musical animated film, I don't know that Peter Pan would be what it is to me today. I've also enjoyed other adaptations, like Hook, of course, which most people cite as being a better film than this, and my God, is it ever. Another movie that I absolutely love, another adaptation that I absolutely love, is the 2003 adaptation where Jason Isaacs played Captain Hook. I've seen multiple iterations over the years. There was a cartoon series when I was a kid called Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates, and man, I'm still hoping someone's going to release a DVD of that someday, because that show is by far one of the best adaptations I've ever done of Peter Pan. It was an animated weekly TV series on Fox. I think it had like 40 or 60 some odd episodes, I'm not sure, but it featured the voice of Tim Curry as Captain Hook, which to me, that's worth the price of admission alone, but still, it's such a great show, and I really wish it would get a DVD release. Now, the reason I've prefaced this review with that is because I want you to understand. I've seen a lot of Peter Pan stuff. I've seen the ones from the last few years, like Pan and whatnot. This movie tries to take the risk that a movie like Pan does. But it also is trying to have a foothold in that 1953 animated Disney universe. The problem is, these things are at odds and contradiction with each other. They want to look aesthetically similar to the 1953 version. They hit and miss with that. But then on top of that, they also are trying to add things that were never there before. Like the idea that Captain Hook, spoiler alert, was once a lost boy and one of the original children to come to Neverland and Peter's best friend. Something that has never been done or touched on. And on top of all that, while they try to give him this backstory, they barely, if ever, really delve into it deep enough to make it matter. If you're going to give a classic villain like James Hook a backstory, take the time to delve in deep enough to make us care about the backstory. Not only did I not care about the backstory, it somehow made me angrier with the film than the other changes that they made. I don't really like the idea that the new version we get of Peter Pan doesn't feel like the genuine article, for lack of a better word. Young actor's good, he's giving it his all, but the material is not great. And it shows, because if the material written were better, I feel like we could have gotten a better performance. Because the problem we're having is that this kid who's being asked to perform this line is coming off as amateurish. Kind of thing you might see at a high school play. The other big issue with his performance is he's not being the traditional snarky Peter Pan. He goes back and forth between the traditional snarky Peter Pan and this like sensitive boy portrayal of Peter Pan. And there's a fine line there that he has not been able to figure out how to ride exactly. It's got other issues that I just won't get into, but man, the one thing that saves being able to watch Peter Pan and Wendy is the performance by Jude Law. Jude Law is one of our finest working actors today, and man, his performance in this is absolutely stupendous. It's superb. He gives this underwritten material for James Hook's tragic backstory a little bit of gravitas, even though it's not perfect. The writing, not his performance. His performance is, like I said, outstanding. He elevates the writing, if anything. I didn't enjoy every aspect of this movie. I mean, if I were to give it a star rating from 1 to 5, I'd probably give it a 2. Yeah. So, that was my review of Peter Pan and Wendy. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, don't forget to click like, subscribe, maybe share this on all your social media platforms. I'm trying to grow the channel to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. It's only May. And I'll see you next time at the video store.